Yeah, I mean, I've been called dumb once or twice in my life.
Doing the things.
What's going on, everybody?
Hooty hoo.
Hooty hoo! Uh-oh.
Oh, look at that guy.
Turn that on. There we go.
Yeah, that was like the best though.
That was.
I think that's like we should watch that more.
Just what, us?
Us, like on a delay, like say stuff and then just wait for us to say it back to ourselves.
That sounds
You're
pretty
such
good.
a handsome man.
He's a handsome man. Now we don't need that. Welcome to the show, guys. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope work didn't kick your ass. Hope you're in a mediocre mood, and hope we can take it from a 5 to a 7. You know what I mean? We can't get you to a 10.
Yeah, that's us. Yeah, that's us.
We can't get you to a 10, but we can.
Sometimes 5, sometimes 7. That's us.
That's right. You get
that's
a fart,
pretty much us in life.
You get a fart joke in there. You know what I mean?
Everybody likes a good fart joke.
You're feeling better. Man, we got a very different show for you guys today. If you guys ever did tune into our show, our podcast originally, what me and Lamb like to do is pick a subject, take a deep dive in, pull some statistics out, and see if it pushed our opinion one way or the other. Today, we will have kind of a 20-minute fun little discussion on kind of some statistics that kind of shocked me and Lamb. Thought they were interesting.
Shocking facts.
Shocking. Oh, my God. Blown away. Breaking news.
So many facts.
Let's start off today exciting. What's the good news is football is back. That's exciting. Tom Brady lost off the jump. That's it. Pretty much a good weekend. I mean,
at that point, I was like, all right, wrap it up.
I'm out. So
I went to a drive-in movie.
Lamb went to a drive-in movie. Got to see Tenet.
Yeah. Well, I will say the movie is great. Maybe not intended for a drive-through.
Yeah, I mean,
or drive-in rather.
I would say for good news is Kevin got his first W last night. Heck of a coaching job. That's right.
Yes, indeedy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, for those that don't know, my doppelganger,
Yes.
a.k.a. my twin brother, is the coach for the Rams.
That's right.
Look him up.
That's right. They're almost the same person. Just success-wise, a little different. Yeah,
I know. He's working his way up the ladder.
He'll be on the
I'm
show.
already there.
He'll be on the show eventually.
I'm gonna have to hit him up.
We'll
and
bring
try
him on here and just see if he's got the chops first. You know what I mean?
I was just gonna say we just stare at each other for a while.
Say something
and you
funny.
just keep addressing us incorrectly.
I'll keep asking him really serious questions, and then I'll be like, "You're like, what do you think? Like, why the death rate is?" And say something funny, you know?
God, make a joke out of it.
Yeah, come on, have a little fun. Paul, welcome in. Paul's our moderator. He's our third stooge here on the show. He is, if you get too reckless, if you say something that's just wildly out of control, he'll give you the boot. But as far as Tenet goes, same director, writer as Inception.
I don't know about writer, but I know director.
Director, writer, Inception, a couple other really big ones.
Yeah, Batman, all those Batman
all
movies.
the good ones.
Yeah,
And you said
Prestige.
a little bit of a mind twister.
Yes, it is. It is like a time caper, if you will.
Okay.
So they're like jumping times and back and forths and stuff like that, and like the future is the present's the future, and it's a lot. Like I would need like a whiteboard and like a series of like note-taking things
Beautiful
to really
lines,
like
strings going back and
Oh
forth.
my God, yeah.
So that's my kind of movie. Maybe that's not everybody's kind of movie, but that is definitely my kind of movie. So I'm excited to see it. I was talking to Lamb. He said it's kind of weird seeing it at a drive-in because there's so much to grasp. Every line is important in those movies, and you were like 1,000 feet away. So.
I know, and I'm listening to it on my car radio, and you're
Right.
like, cars are driving by, you got lights in your face every now and then.
Yeah.
It's just stuff like that.
I would like to try that, though. I don't know if I would go see Tenet there, but
Yeah.
I do want to try the drive-in experience.
Yeah,
So very
exactly. So if you have an opportunity to see Tenet in a theater, I'd recommend it. But if you can support a drive-in and go see other movies at the drive-in, I support that as well. Like old school stuff, like I saw Jurassic Park at the drive-in. Awesome.
Way easier to sneak candy in.
Encouraged. Literally rolled in with a pizza.
Like a 2-liter of soda.
Yeah, exactly. I've been there.
Pizza's a pretty good
Yeah,
idea.
pizza was solid.
That's a great idea. Also, this is more of a positive story for me and Lamb, but our following, for Instagram the other day, we hit 200 followers, and on here, we're almost up to, we're over 100 now, so thanks to you guys following along. If you guys have not followed us on Instagram, hit us up at Two Dumb Idiots Podcast. You guys can follow along. We'll give you all the deets on when we're coming live and what the shows are going to be about.
That's 200 real followers, by the way.
That's, that is actually important to know. You guys are like, what, 200 followers? On Instagram, there is this disease right now where every 5 seconds I get a message from somebody saying that they can boost my followers. It can be 5,000 people overnight. If you have a friend on Instagram And maybe a year ago you looked and they were like, man, Sarah's got 450 followers. And then you checked last week and she's got 20,000. Chances are she did it in a nefarious way.
Yeah, less than savory fashion.
That's right. So you can literally go and get a bunch of bots to follow it. And we didn't want to do it that way. We wanted to try to grow organically. So I have done it through, other podcasts, other people liking the show. It's also, Instagram is very, I don't know, people on there are shady. It's just a shady site. Recently, I've told Lamb this, is I keep getting these people, they will come to the Two Dumb Idiots podcast Instagram. They will go through and like 3, 4, 5, sometimes even like 7 or 8 of the pictures, but they won't actually follow the page. And so what I've deduced is that their expectation is that I look and I say, wow, Joe Schmo likes 7 of my pictures. I have to go and follow their page now.
If I follow them, then they'll see more of my photos and they'll like those photos.
But I'm not doing it. I'm not falling into that trap. If you want me to follow you, you got to follow me first. It's just that simple. If you're another podcast, I'll follow you back. If you're another Twitch streamer, I'll follow you back. I'll give you some love. If you're just a random guy and you just liked a bunch of my pictures, you're not getting a follow for that.
There's just also this weird thing we've talked about where like people are like worried they have too many people that they follow.
Yeah. That's true.
Like you're not allowed to have too many people you follow.
That's very true. People look to an Instagram page and they'll say, wow, this person has 7,000 followers and he only follows 100 people. That must mean he's important. That must mean he has some kind of clout, or people must really be, hey, Joey Fingers with a subscription. Hey, appreciate that. Greatness Echoes. Love it. Thank you guys. Joey, just letting you guys know it is September, so you guys can subscribe for a discounted rate, pretty much half off. Or if you do have Amazon Prime, you can do it for free. But what were we talking about?
About that ratio, that weird ratio. Like if The Rock had 170 million followers, and followed 170 million people, people would be like, "This guy's a bum."
The people for some reason get confused and think he's not that important. Yeah, it is really weird that people don't want to follow you back because it somehow hurts their numbers. I think going forward we need to change that. I think it needs to be one of those things where it needs to be showing some love. Just because a million people follow you and nobody follows you back, or you don't follow me back, I don't know, it kind of makes you look like a cruddy person. Because if you're, like, let's say you're The Rock and you have 170 million followers. I'm sure he doesn't, but if he only followed 100 people, that wouldn't make sense anyway. I'm not even a millionth percentage as famous as The Rock, and I follow 400. I have 400, people that I've known that I would like to keep up with. So that's just not possible.
The Rock's not allowed to like follow like anybody famous because he knows them. Like he's like, I can't follow Kevin Hart. Ruin my numbers.
But it's not like that on Facebook, right? Like people aren't really looking like that on Facebook. It's not like that on any other thing else. But for some reason on Instagram, the more followers you have, and the less people you follow, that ratio is really important. We're not doing that on the 2 minutes. I'm going to follow people until I pass out. So
as long as they follow us.
As long as you follow first. That's right. Let's start off with a couple positive stories. You guys know the deal. On this show, we always like to start positive. We kick it off with a couple stories that you guys probably missed. I like to say the word suppressed. Lamb doesn't like when I say that. But some more stories that maybe weren't as popular that maybe you guys missed.
This one is because of us, so I wanted to shout ourselves out a little bit.
Please
we shouted out Old Navy because they were, doing the good things and telling people they were telling their employees they'd pay them to work the polls.
Did they hear about it?
Apparently, Tory Burch and Target heard about it, heard us talking, and now they're in on it too, along with some other companies. A lot of companies are closing for the day as well.
Very cool.
Just to give everybody the opportunity to vote, knowing that potentially, the lines are going to be long and getting there is not going to be easy, which I really appreciate as well.
Not to mention there's a lot of polling places that we know have closed because of the COVID. So
yeah, and then Arnold willing to pay for a bunch of them.
Plus the sports stadiums. Yeah. We've covered this almost every show, but we really like it. We just like the fact that there's so many people jumping forward because whether you agree or disagree with what's going on political, what makes this country really that great is the fact that every single person gets an option to say, I don't like this person or I do like this person. That is not something that is granted everywhere else in the world. And I like that our country continues to fight for that. So that's kind of cool.
And we looked it up, and apparently Target in the U.S. alone only has 360,000 employees.
Wow, that's
so they're willing to shell out a few dollars.
Yeah, a little over $250,000, just the basics.
Yeah, but love it.
Love it. Very, very cool. We also, now this is a more of a detailed story, but we also thought this was really cool. This is something I brought to Lamb off air, and we just decided, man, this is something we'd like to talk about. There was a researcher in Hungary recently that he won an award for a procedure. It's a gene-based treatment, and it's in clinical trials right now. But it is a treatment that looks like it can cure blindness. It is, like I said, and if you guys don't understand, in order for something to even get to a clinical trial, there has to be an overwhelming amount of data supporting whatever it is you want to get approved, showing that there's even a reason for that study to be even done in the first place. And then once that study's done, again, those trials have to show, again, overwhelmingly that this thing does support that or does fix whatever you're trying to fix. I thought what was really cool about this, and I guess I shouldn't use the word cool, but fascinating, is apparently the level of the amount that they're able to fix right now, the first step, will only give you black and white vision. They said it's almost like an old TV. It's like even the technology.
They know. Like, it's like TV new. Like they were like, all right, this is where you start. This is how it works.
It's so bizarre that, like,
not like we can give you like primary colors or anything like that, like to start, or it's like, it's like red and green are tough or anything. No, just like, black and white, bro.
It'd be different if, like, this was invented in, like, I don't know. I mean, when was color TV invented?
No, probably 50s.
Okay, so it'd be different if, like, this study was being done in the 50s and they're like, yeah, like, we're curing blindness, we can only do black and white. That would make sense.
Yeah.
We're in the day and age, it's like, you guys can't do color? I don't know. It just seemed really funny to me, like, you guys giving, like, dog vision to people, you know? Yeah. And so it was that struck me as odd. Now, like you said to me off air.
Now, is it 4K black and white now?
No, absolutely not.
So we're talking like 1950s, like, you know,
They
like
literally
I'm saying like the CRT, like with the scrolling, maybe you got lines going by, like.
They quite literally said in the article exactly like old black and white television. So I'm assuming
like
everything.
So what do you think? Because there was like standard definition below that. So there's HD, then there's standard definition before that. That was like VCR tapes and stuff like that. Before that. What level of TV are we talking?
I don't think they're talking like, I don't think
are we
you're
talking
like static interference.
No, but I'm talking, well, maybe occasionally it fuzzes out a little on you. I don't know.
I don't think it's like an antenna.
You're just like got these things that you're adjusting. Uh-oh.
Yeah,
you got little two knobs on the side of your head that you just got to kind of...
Susan, you still here?
Do you remember the tracking buttons on the VCR that you used to have to mess with?
No.
Or are you not... I might be... Like, you had to... Like, the tape didn't always, like, go perfect. You had to, like, change it a little bit. You had, like, a little adjustment with the VCR tape to get rid of some of the lines. So I was wondering if there's, like, tracking buttons.
No, I don't know. I just...
Dialing it in a
again,
little.
it's funny to me that, like... Okay, it's funny to me, like you said, in the 50s, we were finally able to grow into a color television. And then now, for some reason, we're like, yeah, we're curing blindness. But as with the TV, we got to start with black and white. It's just odd to me that would even be a starting point with this. Me and Lamb were joking that, does that mean after this, it first goes to, like, basic color, and then you get, like, a 4K vision, and then, like, in the future, you... Okay, now that's a real good question. In the future, when this technology becomes as clean as, like, laser hair removal... Is it something that I go get? Like,
can you get, like, upgraded? Like,
right.
I mean, they have laser correction surgery right now, which is astonishing if you think about it.
Great.
They shoot a laser in your eye and, like, cut it open and, like, reshape it so that your eyes are the right shape so that you have good vision.
If they'd have told you 100 years ago that they can fix your vision, but it does require putting a laser in there, you'd...
No!
Right. So it does seem like either...
It's, like, if you go back, like, even, like, 60 years, it's pure science fiction.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, again,
like 100% science fiction.
The laser in the eye. I mean, just somebody telling me I sign up for that is just right, that was the first one.
Don't move.
That was the first guy. Apparently. That was the sound from the very first guy. What's the chat going on over here about it?
Paul's letting me know what's going on in the Giants game.
When was the first?
1946. First color TV. Commercials first started broadcasting in color in 1953.
Okay, so it took
we were about
it
right.
took a while though for them to actually get it on television.
Like you could like get like I'm sure like very specific because it could film movies like the technology existed.
Right. But like back to our point.
But you had to send it out.
Yeah. Back to our point. Is it something? I mean, okay, and we're talking like in this day and age, we're talking 20/20 vision is perfect, right? But every time you go to the doctor,
2010.
Right. Every time you go to the doctors, they will tell you, like, oh, you can even look at the chart on the wall. It'll say, like, oh, if you can read this, you have 2018. You can read this, you're 2017. if they have an ability now, I don't know how invasive this blindness repair, but is it something that I go in an hour later, they do some repairs, and all of a sudden I'm back to 20/20? Or is it something I can go in and say, I want really good vision? And do you think it becomes something where it's like, it's like almost like getting your braces. Like, it's just people just go in and get does everybody have perfect?
Yeah, can you get like a tune-up? Like,
Are there no more glasses?
Is it like, I would think it would be like a gradual increase. I don't think it'd be like a snap in a finger, but I do feel like maybe you go get an injection and it's kind of like, like a plastic surgery type thing. Like,
and then see through walls.
I don't know if there's any level of vision that actually like allows that.
X-ray vision? You don't think like there's something I can like, maybe just like...
Do you understand how X-rays work?
I'm saying...
X-rays go through the wall. They need something on the other side to stop it so you can see.
Just put it in one eye. Just put it in one eye, then. I only need it in one eye. All right, what about like heat sensors?
We have those.
In our eye?
Everywhere. When things are hot?
That is not what I'm talking about. Don't be a jackass. That's taking things way too literally.
You want heat vision? Is that what you're saying? Like shooting like hot rays out? Like
no.
Superman?
No, I want like thermal vision. I want like to see.
Oh, like Predator style.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's possible.
That could be a possibility.
Right. That can't be too complicated. Now, I don't think that's going to be.
Tell this guy that.
Look.
Also.
What's his name?
Rosca. Also, you told me off air.
Wait a minute.
About this guy.
His first name is Botond.
Yeah.
Botond.
Yeah, it's it's Brian from Hungary. That's their Brian.
That's their Brian name?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know. I just made that up.
Botond.
You told me off air something about like what drew him to become a researcher first.
Oh yeah.
What he was initially what?
He was a cello player. It's so bizarre. Okay, now first off, I will say this.
This is like a straight up genius level dude.
I was just about to say there is some weird correlation, and I'm not. Maybe this is a shout out to all the band people in high school. There is a weird correlation between good musicians and intelligence. There is a very strong...
Reading music is difficult.
Yeah, and I think I agree with that. And I almost think the ability to really, truly understand the difference in beats, kind of like beats per second, that kind of stuff. I do think there is some kind of very intellectual level to that I don't think everybody has. Now, he was a cello player, the guy that is going to cure blindness.
Shocker.
Cello player, yeah. But
that guy right there.
The best part about it was it said that an injury ruined his cello career. So we don't know if he had like cello elbow.
I think it was cello's shoulder.
Cello shoulder?
Yeah, okay. Cello shoulder. Yeah, it gets like locked up and it's really painful apparently.
Do you think that he's telling that story like a bar?
Yeah, I was about to go pro, bro. I was first chair, Hungarian Symphony. You don't know.
You come in mid-conversation, you sit down and be like, Botton's over here telling a really funny story about what? I almost went pro. You almost pro. You had a shoulder injury. Soccer? Cello. You're like, what?
Yo, bro, you don't understand. This Hungarian Symphony.
Why don't you just tell everybody you don't like playing the cello?
Did he like run into a wall? I guess my cello career's over.
It seems like a lot of work to get out of playing the cello. So anyway, we thought the whole story was fascinating. It just really reminded us that like we are... this was a different article I read about it. This was not in this one, but one of the people that were discussing it said within the next 100 years, they expect. What's that?
Paul.
I wonder if this can cure blindness. Wouldn't it be? Cure color blindness. Yeah, color blindness, Paul. I mean, God, you would really hope that they would cure color blindness before they could.
I think we could figure that one out. Yeah, that seems like a
I mean,
pretty basic one.
I would really hope they could figure that out. I would. Now, Paul, let me ask you this real quick. This is just directly to you. Have you ever... Don't they have actual glasses you can wear?
I've seen, like, videos of people putting them on and, like, crying and stuff like that. No, like, people that have never seen colors and stuff like that.
I know. I totally understand what you're saying. It was just funny. Like, it was like... Second the glasses go on. Just
tears. They do have the glasses.
Okay, so they do have the glasses. Paul, we got to get you on these glasses, and we got to send them to you, and then you got to...
$300. We're going to start a GoFundMe for Paul.
Never mind. We're not sending them to you. But once we do get them... we do need like a very tearful crying video.
Yeah, pure unadulterated crying tears.
But just go somewhere really vanilla, like your bathroom. Look at these walls are white.
They're so white.
Yeah, they've always been white.
They're no different than what they appeared before.
Now this toilet definitely needs cleaning.
Yeah. Oh damn.
I thought it was white. It is brown. Also talking about this guy got me and Lamb thinking again what they are going to improve upon. And one of the articles I read said that within the last 150 years, we made some really great progress. But people are saying within the next 100 years, the human species will probably become up to 1,000 times smarter. Meaning, in the next 100 years, that's how much
People be as smart as me.
Well, not 1,000 times dumber, 1,000 times smarter. Yeah. Sorry. No, I mean, going forward, they're going to be. I mean, that's how much ground they think we're going to make up in 100 years flat. To me, that tells you a lot. That tells you within 20 years you can probably expect, like I said, the blindness maybe. What else are we thinking?
What are people that can't smell called? I know if you can't hear, you're deaf. Or
if you can't smell, you're called probably
if you can't talk, you're mute.
You're a bad wine taster, I think.
Just like an anti-sommelier.
You're an anti-sommelier. You are a very bad cook.
Yeah, probably.
Probably an awful cook. Didn't you tell me last time?
Skunk wrangler?
Yeah, you get a bing bong for that. There you go. There's your bing bong. Do you think? I mean, didn't you say that smell is directly most of your taste?
Yeah, they say your taste is real basic, but your smell is where 90% of actual flavor comes from.
So okay, so we're gonna again. We said on the last show, epilepsy,
Parkinson's. For sure.
They said a lot of these things. Oh, and the other thing was Alzheimer's. They said already, and I see an article every week. If you really dive into news, you'll see an article every week talking about how Alzheimer's is right on that edge. They said that they already have a lot of data showing who is going to get Alzheimer's, or good, trending signs. But me and Lamb were saying right now they have a watch. I mean, they have watches right now you put on, you walk around all day. They're running EKGs on your heart. They're monitoring your blood pressure, your heart rate, all these vital signs.
I mean, they have things that you can, if you're diabetic, and you can put the pump on, and it has an app that goes right to your watch.
Right.
And it tracks it in real time.
Yeah.
So, all those things can easily be, hooked into the watch. They don't have to have the sensors directly.
And you have to know that the watches are going to get more advanced, right? So even more than an EKG, they're going to be doing all sorts of different tests. And on top of that, right now, and I don't know this, I don't know if the data even is compounded anywhere. I don't know if it's collected and maybe, done with anything, or anything done with it.
I don't think it's allowed to be right now.
Yeah, I mean,
probably legally.
Right, but even for me, if it was private, it's hey, can I take it to my private cloud? Again, in the future, if your watch is doing EKGs, it's monitoring your blood sugar, your whatever, all this different stuff, they said with that amount of data, they will very clearly be able to predict, hey, you are showing early signs of this. You're showing early signs of maybe, stomach issues or Alzheimer's or all these different things. And they said, maybe they don't have the cures ready as fast, but being able to detect something years before you normally would see symptoms, that alone is almost a cure in my mind, right? Because I think a lot of things can be dealt with much more manageably if you know a significant amount ahead of time, right?
All right. Prepare the copyright button for this.
Prepared.
All right. A service where they send you a little kit and you prick your finger or whatever and get a blood sample. Send it in every month, every 3 months, whatever the number they decide
tells you all your ancestors, called Ancestry.com. Got you, dude.
Copyright.
Wait, did I miss something?
Yeah, you missed everything. And then they do a full blood panel on you.
Sorry.
So they do a full blood panel, check your levels, all your vitamins, minerals, all that stuff. And then they just keep it a track.
Right.
And so they could, their job is to monitor changes.
Yeah.
So they're oh, we noticed every month or whatever, that you're trending down in your vitamin C. You should really up that or whatever.
Right.
And just upload it to an app or something like that. A service you pay maybe $300 a year or something like that.
I totally agree with you. I really do. Again, you hope that big nasty corporations don't completely grab something like that. But I love that idea. I love the idea of, like I said, somebody else monitoring, or and to be honest with you, we're so close that I know it's not even going to be a human monitoring it. It's just going to be algorithms looking over your numbers and saying And now if they're looking at my numbers, they're going to say, Nick, Monday through Friday, your diet seems to be impeccable. Saturday and Sunday, it takes a real nosedive.
Yeah, your cholesterol's through the roof on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, I love to cheat on Saturday and Sunday. If you guys don't know, I go pretty hard on my cheat day.
Yeah, Paul, it's called going to the doctor. I don't go to the doctor every month, though.
Yeah, they can't be checking my blood. all the time. So yeah, it's got us thinking, man. Like I said, if they're really that close to blindness, if they're really that close to Alzheimer's, you just, I mean,
can we just get rid of toe fungus at this point?
Yeah,
like toenail fungus?
Toe
Like, come
fungus. Yeah, let's get rid of
What else? Baldness?
I don't even know why the flu's still a thing. Let's move it around here.
Coronavirus. Why is that still a thing? Let's get it
Come
out.
on, we've seen it. We've done it. Give me something new. Come on.
There's actually an article I saw in the New England Journal of Medicine. It's at this point just a supposition, just an idea that they're saying that wearing masks might actually be helpful in preventing the coronavirus.
What do you mean?
That everybody's getting it now in such small doses that your body's actually getting time to deal with it.
Oh.
In such small ways that you're building up your own immunities
Towards it
by wearing masks.
Very similar to the flu.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. That is very interesting.
Still all in like supposition, like theory, but they put it in the New England Journal of Medicine, which is the #1 medical publication in the world.
Yeah.
So
that's very
they're not just throwing like gobbledygook in there.
Tic Tacs and
Yeah,
make
Tic
your
Tacs.
breath better.
Yeah, Tic Tacs are
New York
tasty.
City,
Yeah, like new study. Tic Tacs are the best breath mint there is.
5 hacks to clean your bathroom.
Exactly. 6 ways toothpaste can use besides cleaning your teeth.
Yeah. You're gonna have to. Usually, I'm not gonna find that in that journal.
No.
Okay. All right, we'll move on. Fascinating. Well, like I said, if you guys, we will probably keep you posted. I love stuff like this. For me, man, I think about. I mean, not my mortality, but I think about. You know, I hope that by the time I'm 50, there's some things that my parents or my grandparents or, you know, people that had to deal with that I don't have to deal with. You do hope that that comes along. I know that we are definitely building immunity the wrong way to, like, amoxicillin and things like that. But in a good way, you kind of just hope that they come up with different ways. You know,
but my thing is, don't make amoxicillin taste like bubble gum if you want people not to take it.
Or stop putting
Take too much of it.
Or stop putting it in, like, chicken and stuff.
Like, I'm just saying, when I was a kid, I used to think it was bubblegum medicine because it tasted so much like bubblegum. It's just liquid.
You like Robitussin?
I do like a little Tussin. I
Gross.
can drink a little Tussin straight out of the bottle. Fun fact about me, I don't use that tiny cup. I just unscrew the bottle and take a swig, and that's my that's my amount.
You do the same thing.
That's my amount to take. It's one swallow.
I do that for pretty much everything in my life. I've never used like a Listerine cup. Like,
I'm not over here doing science experiments.
Nobody else is using a Listerine bottle. It's me. I don't care if there's
mine.
any backwash because I'm sure it just eviscerated once it got in there. It's just a bottle full of alcohol. Who's in here?
It's got Travis in the chat. Thanks, buddy.
What's a conspiracy?
I think he's talking about me, that mask thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
for
I'm sure they're going to call that a conspiracy.
For sure, yeah. I mean, even this stuff, you literally, people question, we can't go down this rabbit hole, but it is one of the most concerning things, and we've talked about it on this podcast before. People questioning science just boggles my mind. I just genuinely.
Like, science's job is out there just, like, ruining people. That's what they like to do. They
Even
trick
like-
people.
even
They
like-
just love to, like, play. They're like pranksters, all
Even,
these
like,
scientists.
Climate change is one of my absolute favorites because, okay, first off, let's just real quick before we go too far down this, but real quick, if climate change was fake, right? Okay, let's
Have you been outside in the last?
Literally I just sweated my ass off trying to get the mail, right? Okay,
In the smoke.
the entire California is on fire, right?
Yeah.
Like the entire coast is on fire. Anyway, my point is this: if it was the other way, if science was really saying, look, this is like an actual science was saying, like, this is not true, like we're legitimately not getting hotter, I would understand that conspiracy more because at least I know who's benefiting from that. It's like, oh, Exxon, the gas people, all these people making energy. Like, I totally get it, right? The other way around, it's like, it's like these people that study Antarctica and nature their entire lives come up to you because, hey, we've been studying this for 20 years and it isn't an actual shitstorm. People are like, I don't trust you. And it's like, look, man, you work in an office 8 hours a day. Why are you? This guy's got a doctorate.
Have you? Yeah, he's drilling ice cores. Have you drilled an ice core?
Why are we questioning these people? Like,
I spent my entire life going to college and studying this one tiny, minute thing.
Yes.
But you, with your 3 YouTube videos, have figured it out.
You are so factual on that, Lamb. That is 100% true. I need to be an air horn on that. Yeah, it's just like I said, I'm just not questioning scientists. If the majority of scientists, and then people will quote, they'll say, oh, well, this one scientist said it's not true. And then a couple years later, it always comes out that, like, Exxon paid this guy off, and they're like, it's always that.
But why is that the one guy that they believe?
That's what I'm saying.
There's 99 guys. You don't be like, yo, John's saying it's not true. But, like, all those 99 guys are lying.
This doctor from Bahamas, like, scratching his neck. He's like,
I know.
yeah,
He's just got, like, a briefcase full of money.
It's like hanging out the side.
It's like Kramer when he goes to that office. He opens it up. He's got crackers inside. You're
Cartoon
like,
money hanging
yeah.
out the side of it. Yeah. Just wanted to come to this press conference, let you guys know that global warming is fake, and I'm out.
I'm a doctor.
See it on my badge right here. It's upside down. Don't worry about it.
Went to the University of Not Real.
That's right. Paul, throw it in the chat there. Yeah, we already had one subscription today. Appreciate that from Mr. Greatness Echoes. If you guys haven't already, like I said, link it on up there. All right, let's go ahead and move on. We got other stuff to talk about today.
Thank God.
Thank God. Let's move on. Okay, so real quick, we have another story for you guys. This was a very interesting story that I told Lamb that I probably, again, would rabbit hole into, but that's kind of what we do here anyway. I read a story, and I'm going to pronounce this thing wrong, but I assume it's oxytocin. Oxytocin, okay. Is oxytocin is the chemical in your body that they associate with the feeling of love, being in love with the opposite sex or the same sex. And they have said and this is not the first study, I should say this is not the first study to do this, but a very conclusive study came out recently saying that children who were directly involved, meaning they watched their parents divorce or they were part of an ugly divorce, show a dramatic, I don't say less, dramatic reduction. There, that's the word I'm looking for. Dramatic reduction in the amount of this oxytocin that is produced in their body, quite literally handicapping them, in my opinion, from trying to create relationships going forward. Is that fair?
Yeah. And side note, before we continue, both you and I are products of divorce.
Correct.
So we'll get that out there.
Let's use that there. Yeah. But I have seen. Both of my parents are divorced. And
I think you and I might have more divorces than you total.
Maybe. I have mom twice, dad twice. So you know,
four. I got at least 4.
Yeah,
the last time I checked, my dad was on wife number 5.
Yeah,
so
who knows? Yeah, who knows? But again, directly, my time, I've seen 3 or 4. But again, my point is this: I'm 31 years old, not married. You are not married.
Nope.
My brother,
Never been.
not married. My other brother, not married.
My sister, about to be married, but not product of divorce.
But not product of divorce.
So my half sister.
Half sister, correct.
Other sister married, also not a product of divorce.
Yes. So again, now I will say this: there are a lot of factors. Okay, so I would say, as far as our generation not being married, obviously this has some factor in it. But the research that me and Lamb did showed that there is just a cornucopia of reasons that this is the trending thing, that marriages are maybe not, I don't want to use the word decline, but they're definitely not as frequent as they used to be.
Yeah, they said the number one reason there are no marriages is eHarmony.
That's absolutely not facts. Where's that button? There we go. I got you. There we go. That's for bad facts on the show, folks. No, so again, I thought that was interesting. And for me personally, I would say that if you asked me directly, did it influence me? I might tell you no, right? Like, I don't think so, right? But if you asked me, if a psychologist asked me, what do you think about the institution of marriage? I think my real thoughts would bleed through there. I think I would say something along the lines of, it's meant for 2 people that are friends, that are in love, and that want to spend the rest of their life together and start a family. But I would also say it's fraught with opportunities for failure. It is a endeavor, in my opinion, similar to like climbing Everest. It's one of those things that if you make it, I think it's a very strong achievement, but I also think you probably battled to get to that point. I would say, what's going on? Are we missing something?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you're distracted here.
I'm good. I'm listening.
Okay. So I would say, all right, let's get into the facts here. For me, you're killing me. Let me see here. If you just want to leave, I can take it from here. So anyway, okay.
Hey, somebody's got to respond to the chat every now and then.
Nobody's talking in there. Literally nobody. All right,
just waiting for me to start it.
No way. So one of the so things I thought were interesting. So I went and looked a little bit. Half of Americans ages 18 and older were married in 2017. That sounds like a high number, but that's actually down almost 10 percentage points from 1990.
They're starting it at 18?
18. Half of Americans ages 18 or older are married in 2017. I know.
Just seems like a very early number.
I agree.
That might skew it in a weird way.
Yeah, I agree. The median age for the first marriage is 30 years old. 28 for women, almost 29, but 30 for men.
I find it interesting they have to, at this point, like if they did this study in the 50s, it would just be age to get married.
Right.
They would never, like, put first marriage.
Right, for sure. Yeah, and first marriage is important. It said 9 in 10 Americans cited love as a very important reason to get married. I'm not sure why 10 out of 10 isn't there. 30 for men. I was, like I said, that was kind of a surprising number to me. Now, I'm 31 and I'm not married either. Now, again,
you're behind the curve, bro.
I'm behind the curve. Let me get to some of the stats that I think are more triggering for me, though. Okay. So here's one that I thought was really, really important, and it's heavy. About 7 in 10 adults, 71%, said it was a very important factor in marriage for the man to be able to support the family financially, in order for him to be considered a good husband and partner. 71%. So 7 out of 10 people think that in order for a marriage to be or a husband to be considered a good husband, they should be financially providing.
So now, my only thing is, does that mean they are financially providing for the entire family, or does that just mean they are looking for someone who's financially stable?
I'm not sure.
Because I feel like nowadays that's a real, like, nobody is like looking for somebody that's bringing $100,000 of debt into the thing, you know, like,
right.
But no, that's could be a real concern, like,
right. And one of the things I said to you, okay, yeah, do I want to marry a girl that's making $1 million a year? Of course. Does a girl want to marry a guy making $1 million a year? Of course. But for me, if you asked me, and I would be really honest, money wouldn't really be anywhere even in like the top 3 of my priorities personally. And that's not me trying to sound cool. I literally just grew up not really with money, and I don't find it that important. I know it is a means to some things in life that I want, but it's also something that I also know doesn't always bring me a lot of happiness either. So for me, again, also something that we talked about. What is that?
Just have good credit.
That's right. Just have good credit. That's all women want.
Speaking of, if there are any ladies in the chat, please remember that we are looking at this from our lens. We have tried to get female perspectives, articles from females on this subject, but we are always looking at this from our lens. So feel free to give us input. Give us input,
especially if you listen to this post show and you feel differently. Let us know, and maybe we'll do a second kind of discussion on it. The other thing is, now I did look it up, and I read an article by a lady, and she kind of discussed it. And her opinion was that the amount of kind of eligible male suitors that are successful, in shape and somebody that they would want to marry has also dropped. So they feel like there's not as many men on the market that are suitable for them in that sense. Now, that could be for a lot of reasons, right? We're kind of in an economic crisis. There tends to be more jobs way at the top and not so many middle jobs. We've talked about this a lot.
The disappearing middle class. And all
the disappearing middle class. There's a lot of male jobs or men trying to chase things or do things, and they're working, they're starting businesses or whatever. But again, we looked back and we looked all the way even to the 1940s and stuff. And you go back to the institution of marriage back then, and people talk about the fact that it wasn't really, it really wasn't really about love back then. It was, if you asked almost anybody, it was a woman was struggling to find work at all, because if they didn't, they pretty much didn't work. Mm-hmm. So women were struggling to find work at all. So they looked at men as kind of, that was their means of income was the male. So that was a very different dynamic. So you would have a male and he would run the household. He would have all the money. Now it is a little bit more split. So what I think comes with that is independent women. They don't rely on men as much. On the same token, you have men that have, even women, men and women with Tinder and all these different things, so they can kind of access the other sex almost at a given moment.
Well, I was thinking women too, with more independence financially and otherwise.
Yeah,
their ability to say no
Yeah.
and like choose better suitors,
Right.
goes up.
Goes up. Yeah, and some of your boy just said in the chat here, it was for stability. The origin of marriage was, for land rights, nothing to do with love. Right, and
You
now
gotta get my dowry.
that's right. And now it has turned into something that is we look for like the perfect partner, our soulmate, so to speak. And I think that's what has happened. People are saying, look, I don't know if, again, we also looked and they said back in the I think the study I read was in the 1950s, about when they polled them, about 50% of men that were married were cheating, and about almost 30% of women were cheating. So it was like, I understand that the marriage lasted longer, but it didn't seem that the marriage was better by any metrics.
It seemed like maybe.
Yeah,
was not the
that was the best
marriage,
the best
meeting.
The best time. Now, if we went and look back in 1958, men were married at the average age of 22, women were the average age of 20. If in 1940, and this was in England, 470,000 couples were married that year, 9,000 a week. In 2016, only 240,000 marriages, 4,700 couples a week. So that's quite literally in half. And you've got to imagine that England probably has 50 to maybe...
I would double the population.
Double the population since then. But for some reason, the marriages are cut in half. So I think what it tells me is...
because everybody's already married, bro.
That's true.
Yeah, they're all staying together.
That's true. I think it was one of those things where it was a necessity back then. It's less of a necessity, so people are less likely to, and again, for my generation, we see how many times it's failed, how much misery it's brought people that we love, and so for us, we're very reluctant to jump into something because we can financially support ourselves, men and women, and if it's not the right fit, if we don't truly love each other, if it's not something that we want to spend the rest of our time around each other, if we're not best friends, then we, in our head, it's fear of missing out on something better, right? We almost look, man, there's got to be somebody else better out there.
Mom, Bob.
Probably higher for women. They're just sneakier. Yeah, they probably weren't even really admitting it on that thing.
I've been cheating.
They thought their husband was just like giving them this quiz or something. Yeah. Have you ever cheated? We're gonna give this.
Don't worry, it's a paper quiz for a study we're doing here at our university.
No worries, your husband's never gonna find out. Again, I would say that a lot of that is fair. That like kind of the options are better, the way to find people and the independence is really better. Like I said, a lot of that was fascinating to me because the one article said in 25 years they expect maybe the marriage to almost be extinct because they said that there's a growing trend of cohabitation more than there is marriage.
I almost feel like marriage might become a thing you have to renew. Like it's a set amount of time, like every 7 years or something like that. And you have to go in and like renew it. If not, it just...
like a smog test?
Kind of. But I'm saying people change. We talked about this a little off air. Like, people are completely different.
Right.
Like, 10 years from now or 10 years in my past. Like, the idea that you might, you're still going to both be the exact same person in 10 years is wildly ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
The fact that you could still love each other in 10 years is not by any means.
Correct.
But you could both diverge in different ways and be so far apart in 10 years.
Yeah.
That you are no longer compatible at all.
Yeah, one of the successful marriages I have, my aunt who's in the chat right now, shout out Aunt Katie, she's been married for a very long time. And she has told me that, her marriage has ups and downs and she battles, but she still loves this person to death. I think that you can grow to the point where you have two very different interests in things, but I find that if I truly care about somebody, it doesn't really matter what they're interested in, right? So I think that's important. I think almost Will Smith almost put it best. He said that his job as a husband is not to make my wife happy. Her job as a person is to find happiness individually. My job as a person is to find happiness individually. And then we come together and boost each other up. He said, if you go into a relationship hoping that this person will, because I'm not happy now and this person will make me happy, then you always will be chasing your tail, so to speak, because that will not be the case. Now you're putting a burden on somebody else's shoulders and saying, I need you to make me happy because I can't do it myself.
Yeah. Well, and I fully believe in that. But also with that, renewing of the marriage thing, there is a financial pressure to stay married to someone now.
For sure. For sure.
Like, the fact that you could lose, and it works in both directions, but the fact that you could lose enormous amounts of, everything, your livelihood, everything because of differences in opinions and just not being in love with someone. So now you have to stay together with that person and then resent that you have to stay together with that person.
And religious beliefs almost say it's
Yeah.
wrong, right?
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of my family, I think, I'm not my family, but a lot of families think that it's wrong to even get divorced,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's like, you agree to be with that person, you're going to be miserable. Whether,
And maybe you did. Maybe you believed it wholeheartedly when you said it.
You're right.
I'm not saying you, like, were lying.
Right.
But then 15 years later,
Yeah.
you're like, maybe this isn't the person I thought they were, or maybe they're a different person than they were 15 years ago.
I think that's very different than, like I said, like having issues in a marriage. Like I said, I just brought my aunt. Like, okay, yeah, everybody's gonna have issues, right? But if you're like, no, I really like, I love this person. Like, yeah, they're crazy sometimes and they drive me crazy, but this, I don't want to spend my life with anybody else. Then I think you just work through that, and I think you start to find something truly wonderful, like a best friend. And I think that's what everybody's after. But like I bring it back to Will Smith. Somebody said they're in an open relationship, right? Will Smith and his girl are very different. I only like the quote. I don't know a ton about their. I mean, their marriage is weird, but the quote is very true. Like I said, I think that you have to find happiness together or separately before you find it together. I think a lot of the numbers that we've looked at, like I said, with so much fear of missing out, fear that you could find somebody better, everybody's independent, everybody's surviving on their own. Women don't want as much to rely on somebody. They want to be strong and independent. It just creates less need for it. Now, I will say this. As I get older, now, when me and you were talking about this off air, when we were 21, I didn't want a partner, really. I wanted, you wanted intimacy. You wanted to be with somebody. You wanted to share time with somebody. But was I ready to start a life and have kids? I don't know why, but I wasn't. Yeah. But in high school, if I'd have asked you at like 16, when do you think you'll get married? What do you think you would have said?
I would have said like 25, 26.
Exactly. That's exactly what I said. 25, 26, no later than 30. That's what I would have said. Because in your head, that's what's socially appropriate. Now, as I got into my 20s, I just wasn't ready. I was like, seems like a lot of...
I did not feel as grown up as I thought I would.
That's really true. Right, I still felt like a baby,
I left college and I had a job teaching, and I was like, I don't know anything. They're like, they hand you like W-2s and you're like, what?
Yeah. The scariest moment of
your
your
life.
I know.
And they're like, here's your life insurance policy. Fill this out. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Why would I ever fill a life insurance policy?
Funniest thing about the W-2 is like 80% of it you don't have to fill out for some reason.
Yeah,
it's really...
leave it blank.
Yeah. It's like the opposite of everything you're taught in school. It's like, here's this paperwork. Don't miss a single thing in life. Here's the W-2. Just sign whatever you want. You know what I mean?
Put a 0 and put your name on it. And that's like the most common version.
Send it back. Like I said, for me now, as I go forward, I do understand. Like I said, the marriage thing is tough. Like, I would want a ceremony and everything, but like the legally binding part of it is really only financially beneficial, right?
Yeah, tax, financials, like, I mean, I guess that's about it.
Right? That's about it. So I guess like you see these codependency. I actually have a lot of people that I know that have lived with or have been with a person for a very long time, and maybe even engaged, but not actually married. And I think it brings some level of it gets rid, of some level of complacency, because I feel as if, and I don't know shit about anything. I've never been married, so I don't know. I literally nothing. But I would say there's got to be a massive issue with complacency. Once you tie that knot officially, as a guy or a girl, it's like, I don't got to do my hair as much. I don't got to put my makeup on. Guys, like, I don't got to hit that gym as often. I get the dad bod. I can, and you start to maybe lose those qualities, the edge of yourself that was so attractive. It's like, I think the best version of yourself is what they like. So if you start to fall into a shell, then you're not that person anymore.
I know. It's like, oh, I fell in love with the person who loves to travel, and then you just become a person who sits on the couch all day.
Yeah. Medical. That's okay. So yeah. See, that's a real married person talking.
Yeah.
That's a benefit, right?
Yeah.
Medical. Yeah. So right, health insurance, stuff like that. Even vacations and shit. Like, you can get somebody to go with all the time, right? You know what I mean? Like, that's
got a buddy.
Yeah. Oh, and the other thing we looked up. This was really funny too. One of the other main reasons we saw that people stay married. Obviously, people are saying they're still interested in each other. They still find each other attractive, yada, yada. But one of the other reasons, like 40-50% said another person to do the chores. Split the chores is what it said. I don't know why. That resonated with me just as hard as anything. I'm like, all right, so, I can find somebody at least half the time to cook meals, and half the time I'll do the dishes, and we can split that back and forth. That I don't care how much of a disagreement we might have. That's a pretty good deal, So laundry gets done, maybe some cleaning help out, It's like, I don't know. I do understand that. I just, like I said, I think it's important that you look at, when you look at the generation today and you say, oh, they're not getting married for this, that, and the other. I think if you're an honest, smart person, you have to really include all of that. You have to say, yeah, like they've seen divorce, and according to studies, chemically it affected them.
Yeah.
They struggle to find love. And I even told you this off air. When I was young, 20s, I thought it had been a while. And I thought, or mid 20s, I should say, it had been a while since I was in love. I was like, man, like I don't know if I'm gonna find that feeling again. And so I feel like that's a really big factor. But also, like I said, it's not as needed anymore. There's more options. The options are easier and faster to see people. Women are independent. And we also talked about this off air. The old days, women married guys so that they had something financial, a family. Nowadays, men are genuinely fearful of that. That's like an actual fear, is that like I will marry a woman and she'll take half my money, right? Like that's like an actual fear. So now you've got,
So what's your thoughts on a prenup?
I think it's a really good idea.
I
know
do
it's probably
too.
an ugly
I
conversation,
know.
but I think it's necessary.
I think it's like, you can have whatever we get together. From now on,
from whatever we make from here on out is unified. But like
anything I got now, like I get to keep.
Let's say hypothetically, like this, me and you work on this podcast for 2 more years, and let's say in 2 years it finally starts to become something where we're really generating a pretty good monthly revenue, right? It turns into something where hey, we're actually making pretty good revenue. 3 years from now, though, we both meet somebody, and you marry that person, I marry somebody. Do they get half of the podcast? Right, like that.
They get you. You got Nick, sorry.
All right, I'll give you that. Sorry for that.
Which happened? Because it's obviously not
you
me.
Nick. No. Okay.
But I get you. Like it's a real
real fear. So do they get half the podcast? No, that's not fair. That's ridiculous. It's like and I don't want to be super sexist, but like it's like the Tiger Woods thing. It's like she never swung a golf club, but she gets half the money. But people would say, okay, but she also like took care of the kids and stuff, right? So you can't.
I'm not saying she gets no money.
Right, 100%. I just think that the prenup eliminates a lot of resentment. And if you have children, then it increases the chance that you can have some kind of mutually beneficial relationship to at least be with those children still, right? Like there's less resentment. I just think money is the ugliest thing in...
Giants and winning.
Oh, Giants and winning? Okay. I think money becomes the ugliest thing in marriage.
There's to me, there's 2 things that seem like they are the biggest issues in all marriage.
Yeah.
One is money.
One is money.
And the other is sex.
Yep. And if you can work out those 2 things...
Everything else is, like, pretty negotiable.
Right.
The rest, like, I feel like people are much more willing to be, like, slide a little or give a little or be, like, more understanding about.
I agree. I think you're very right. I think, like, all right, well, she really likes me eat this, so I cook this, and I don't really like it. And she really likes me go to the beach, and I don't really like the beach. And so, you can kind of flex on certain things. Money is a tough one. Budgets can be very ugly. Like I said, I think a prenup is a good idea. I think that, like I said, if you were not married, then that would never be an issue. If you cohabit, you would just split, right? You just run for the hills. But for some reason, that marriage, all of a sudden, like now you're like, it's like a football contract. Now you're bind to this person for a while. And if you want to split, you got to somebody's got to pay somebody off. That's just not a great way to split with somebody. Nah. You know what I mean? It just leads to massive.
And then, again, I think it then fosters more and more resentment because you're like, oh, I got to stay. And then the things that bother you that, like, build because you can't get out of it.
Right, and then Paul just brought up a massive point is like, Paul said, I hate when the partner uses the kids against the other partner, that kind of thing. And that is like 90% of the time as far as I'm concerned. And that's one of those things where, again, if the money wasn't involved, I don't think it would be as much of an issue. So I think the prenup is a great idea. If you're on either side, if you're a guy and you don't want to sign the prenup because your wife is expensive, then you need to ask yourself, then why are you really with this person, right? And if it really is financial, then you need to have that conversation and say, look, what I like about you is, I know I don't want to be superficial, but what I like is that you're motivated and you can provide. That's fine. That's a compliment to somebody. But you need to at least let that person know. Because like I said before, you start to stop working out, you start to stop cutting your hair, you stop doing the things you like. They married somebody that was driven and wanted to do things, and you turn into a slug. And then you turn around and be like, I don't know why this person doesn't love me anymore. It's like, well, you're not half the person you used to be, So
you're not that person.
You're not that person. So, anyway, I just thought the oxytocin thing was fascinating. I wanted to bring y'all some stats to back it up. Like I said, I know for a fact I look around and I have maybe a couple friends that are married, but even those friends of mine got married in the 30s. So I don't think I have any friends that got married before like 25. So I know it's a very common trend. I know it has to do with the divorce rate. I know it has to do with the way we view the world. And I think this world is much more insane and less stable than it was 50 years ago as well, right?
Yeah, I know. We definitely started talking about like how things used to be.
Yeah.
Versus how things are now.
That's true.
Like the world was different.
Yeah.
Just in general, like women just like weren't allowed to do things.
Yeah.
Like unfortunately.
No, unfortunately they weren't. So it was just like I said, it was more
stuck,
pressured in there. All right, but let's go ahead and move on. This brought us to a fun game we wanted to play with you guys. Like I said, I wouldn't say marriage was better back then. I would not say that. But I would say that.
And it's weird because like if you look at the wrong stat, it looks like the institution of marriage has been ruined.
Right. But if you would look at like divorce rates or unhappiness, I mean, not divorce rates wouldn't show it, but if you look at unhappiness level, I'm sure that would show it back then.
50% cheating, maybe?
Yeah. Yes, right, exactly. But I will say this. I will say that there were some things that I look back on 50s, 60s, 70s, and I'm like, man, they had it right. You know what I mean? Like when you went and like picked a girl up in your car and it was like a big, dance or something, they had like a lot of that stuff they had right, the family traditions were much stronger. Yeah, they had that right. So they had some good things. So me and Lamb thought we'd play a little game with you guys. What do you want to call this?
We're going to do before and after. We may do this with we decided we were going to use a landmark moment in history.
That's right.
To determine before and after.
That's right.
So for this one, we may choose other landmark moments in the future. For this one, we chose the landmark moment of Taylor Swift's birth.
That's right.
Now, so anything before Taylor Swift's birth or after Taylor Swift's birth, we have to try and determine which happened when.
That's what happened. You guys want to take a guess without researching and have some fun with us here. Lamb's got one. He's going to quiz me, and he might know some of my answers, but I'm going to quiz him as well. Like I said, some things I guess I look back on. Here's a good example before we get too in-depth, like cartoons. Lamb said to me off air, there's no way you're ever going to convince me that cartoons are better now than they were 20 years ago. And I looked right in the face and I'm like, yeah, I would 100% agree with you. They were edgier, they were funnier, and they were able to include a lot more styles of jokes.
Yeah.
That was, somebody said, when was that, 2005?
Hey-o!
No, when was that?
The 80s, bro. Saturday morning cartoons.
89, right? Is when she was born?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Taylor Swift was born in 89.
So,
December 13th.
89. So we're going to say
89. So basically 1990.
Yeah. So before or after, we're going to play before or after. Was it better before or was it better after? Or, was it made before or was it better after? All right, Lamb, give us one here.
All right. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yikes.
The original Bill and Ted. For those that haven't seen the newest Bill and Ted, I recommend it. I know it's expensive, so if you want to wait, I get it, but it is a nostalgic, awesome throwback.
I would say for me, before. I would say it's right on that line. I would say maybe 88, 87, but I told you this before, and I always get a little shit for it. I've only seen it in like very choppy bits, which gives me very little context clues. But Paul's guessing before, Bombod guessing before. When was it, Lamb?
It is before. It is 89, but it is February of 89.
All
so
right.
The beginning of that year, almost a full year before.
So
her.
dead 89. Okay, very, very interesting. All right, let me fire one back here. How about the Game Boy?
I have that on my list,
No,
so I know.
Damn it!
That is before.
That is, but barely
slightly
before 89 as well. So that was really cool.
Yeah, I had that one on mine.
All right, how about?
I'll go to one of mine. The Super Nintendo.
I tried to look at Super Nintendo up. I think I didn't get it. I think the Super Nintendo was. Wait, the Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo, not the NES.
Not the NES, because
SNES.
Okay, so weird. I don't know the answer to this, right? But I remember I looked up, and if you look it up right now, if you look up founder of Nintendo, it says like 1893.
Yeah,
What
it started
is that?
as a playing card company in the 1800s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Nintendo's an old company.
I saw it said.
You're like,
Nintendo,
what?
It said Nintendo founded 1893. I was about to say, well, that's pretty far before, but I'm not sure. Like, were they rolling out? Like, what
kind of video games were they doing?
Did I miss something? Did they have just like rocks you threw at each other and called it Nintendo rocks? Like, did I miss something?
Playing cards.
Yeah, playing cards. Okay, so there you go. There's a good fact. All right, so Super Nintendo. I would say Super Nintendo was 1990. So
that is correct.
Wow. All right. Badass. Okay.
That was close.
That was close. Okay. Very cool. I'm going to go with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon.
Ooh, the cartoon.
Cartoon. I would say this.
I would say before.
love the Teenage Mutant Ninja
I would say before 1988 would be my guess.
Okay. But Kat, what do you got? After? Okay.
After?
Shout out to
I
Miles
remember
Simone.
having a Ninja Turtle in 4th grade, which is after that. But I think the Turtles were kind of a thing.
See, I remember like the video game
could
coming
be-
out for Super Nintendo, and that was like 93 or something.
But there was a Nintendo game. I do remember a Nintendo game
okay,
because I played that.
Okay. Well, you would be right. It was 87.
87. I guess 88.
But I would say this. I would have actually guessed before that. Like I would have guessed like early 80s for some reason. I didn't realize. You don't realize that it really did just start right around that time. So that's kind of interesting. All right, what do you got?
New Kids on the Block as a band.
New Kids on. I can't finish that sentence.
Right stuff.
That's not what I was going to say. I was going to sing. Paul, you would know what I was going to say. I was going to sing the Eminem version of that song. Not very pretty. I'm going to say New Kids on the Block were born after 98, 88. I would say they were started. I would say, God, if you pulled up a bunch of boy bands and said, which one is the New Kids on the Block, I would have no freaking idea. I don't even know what they sing.
You'd have to literally look at the oldest pictures.
What is the song they sing?
Right Stuff. That was the
one I was mumbling?
They had the move, bro. That was their move. That was like their big dance move.
Paul filled it in for me. Thank you, Paul, for that was the song. New Kids on the Block. We do have like a beep sound here. All right, here we go. Okay. I would say New Kids on the Block were after. I would say it was 91.
Nope. 85, bro.
What? I didn't even know there was a boy band back
Yeah,
then.
they're the original, like, big time.
That's fascinating. All right, give me another one.
Ooh, the Hubble telescope was launched.
Whoa, Hubble. You know, I think the Hubble telescope was on the year I was born, which was 88, but I don't know that for a fact, obviously. I don't really know anything for a fact. I'm going to say before. Just slightly.
1990.
Whoa,
Just after.
Just after. Okay. And that was when it was launched.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
Lexus debuted their first car in the United States.
Whoa, Lexus. I wonder. I wish we could look that up because there's been a couple companies. I mean, I think the first one I think of is Kia, but like when Kia first came out, like if you go look at like a 2005 Kia,
Yikes!
it is a colossal dumpster fire pile of crap. It is so ugly.
It's literally like a child drew a car.
It's like somebody shit on a Saturn is what it looks like. Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. Yes. So first Lexus, I'm gonna say Lexus was before as well.
It
87.
is before. It is 89, but it's January of 89.
Oh wow. So
first Lexus in the U.S.
do you know? I don't want to just hit you off the top here, but do you know if Lexus was in other countries for a long time before that? No.
No, it's a Japanese company. It's owned by Toyota.
So it was like
basically
Toyota. I'm saying, but it was almost immediately that it came to the United States after.
Toyota was a fairly like in the 70s. So yeah, they were probably not around for very long before. Let
me fire one back and see if you have it.
All right.
What about the World Wide Web?
Ooh. Depends on your definition of the World Wide Web.
Well,
if we're talking at DARPA, then it's before.
Uh-huh.
That would have been like 82, 83. At DARPA, they had connected computers via cables.
But that wasn't the World Wide Web.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but that is
yeah.
what is supposedly the genesis of the World Wide Web.
Correct.
What's known as the World Wide Web?
When it actually went live.
I would say before, because we had AOL and Prodigy at my school with the internet modem back in the day, that was like 92. So I'm guessing before.
Well, your school was on the edge because they released it in 1990. So
wow, we had literally had that yelling modem like for this thing called Prodigy.
That thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was like an 8K modem, I think it was.
Did you have issues at your house when you were on the phone and the internet? Somebody tried to connect to the internet and it would just go over to your phone.
I wasn't allowed to use. We didn't have internet at my house. We
really?
weren't allowed to use it.
What?
Yeah.
Why not?
It cost money. I didn't have it till I went to college.
I think I just
or
had a
school.
stroke. What?
Yeah.
Before you went to college. Okay, that makes a little more sense.
That was 2000. So like we didn't have internet.
What was your mom's opinion of it?
It was fine. It was just it cost money, so my stepdad wouldn't allow it because it used minutes on the phone.
Fascinating. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, in my house, a very common occurrence was we had one computer. It was an actual pile of crap. It was in the living room, and if obviously it was connected to the phone line. So anytime like you were on the phone and somebody didn't know you were on the phone, they'd try to connect to the internet, and right in the middle of your phone call, just burn, and you're like, oh god damn it, I'm on the phone. You know, it was like every time you picked up the phone, somebody's trying to use the internet.
So yeah, we didn't had a computer, but floppy disks, like actual floppy disks back in my day. Like,
got it. All right, what else you got?
Nelson Mandela released from prison.
I'm also going to say 88, but I really don't know that either for a fact. I don't know. I think everything happened on my year I was born. Nelson Mandela, year he was born. I don't know, 88.
That is after. 1990.
1990. All right, Nelson Mandela. Shout out Nelson Mandela. Love that guy. All right, how about Rugrats? The show Rugrats. Paul, what about Rugrats? What do y'all got in the chat? Rugrats before or after?
See,
89.
Also, because cable cost money, we didn't have cable. So I did not watch Rugrats, Nickelodeon.
No Disney either then. Huh?
Nothing. If it wasn't, didn't have rabbit ears, like if it wasn't on rabbit ears, we didn't have it until I went to college. Then they got cable, they got satellite TV, they got a big giant TV, they got the internet, they got all these things. As soon as I went to college, it was great.
That sucks. Well, yeah, you guys are right in the chat. It was 91. I only put that in there because I was surprised. I mean, I was 3 years old, and I remember watching Rugrats my entire childhood. So I guess I thought it was before that, but
They were
really
just running reruns, probably.
They just really pretty much started. All right, what else you got?
I got some Berlin Wall.
I really think that was 89, so I think that's right on the line. I got to say before.
It is after. 91.
91, okay, very cool. Berlin Wall, okay. For you guys in the chat, Game Boy. I asked Lamb this, but he already has it on his thing. Game Boy, what do you guys think? The actual Game Boy, you think it was before 89 or after 89?
I think we already said the answer.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, dead on 89. I don't think we said it. I don't think we said it. Okay, so 89, dead on.
Yeah.
That's really surprised me.
I was shocked.
That shocked me. Like, I actually shocked me.
Because I had one, like, the year it came out. I think I got it for that Christmas.
So you're saying we rolled out a Super Nintendo when?
89, then 90.
So Super Nintendo came out 89, 90, and they already had a handheld console.
I'm saying Super Nintendo came out in 90. Game Boy 89. So they went like one year 89 Game Boy, next year.
Game Boy, one of the best inventions ever.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that. I mean,
All right.
guy, girl, whoever. What up?
What do we got here?
How about text messaging?
Ugh.
I know it's also one of those.
It depends. Would you consider a text message? Is an email a text message
No.
from like a phone to another phone?
No. A text message.
Are we talking pagers? Because I used to send text messages on pagers.
What year was that?
That was in the late 90s.
Late 90s?
People in the mid 90s had pagers. So my stepdad had one that you could like put like actual like messages in. I would say before then, because he had one in like 92 that you could actually get like written messages. It had like a LCD screen.
Well, then he was on the cutting edge because it wasn't 92 that day. So that's when they officially announced text messaging. 92.
All right, I got some rapid fire ones for you.
Hit me fast.
Prozac.
After.
Before, bro.
Wow.
88.
Wow.
All right, the last two are basketball players.
All right.
Are they older or younger than Taylor Swift?
Okay.
Damian Lillard.
Younger.
Yes, by a few
lot.
months.
Yeah, a few months. Oh, okay.
That's
wow.
it. 1990.
I thought he was much younger than that.
Nah.
Okay. No, fascinating.
John Wall.
I think me and John Wall are the same age. I think John Wall's 31, so I think he was born in 88. Younger.
He is younger.
How much younger? Or he's older. I thought he was older. Excuse me.
Oh, yeah. He's
90?
younger. He's 90.
Ah, damn. Okay, so fascinating. All right, there you go, guys. We thought that was interesting. Some of those things we were looking them up. We just kind of blew us away there. We had some other stories we wanted to get into, guys, but we have kind of gone a little bit long, which is all right. I love kind of digging deep into a subject like that.
Let's do this one. I think this guy, nice little.
Yeah, go for it.
Because it's kind of timely. I want to get it in there.
Yeah. We do like to do some timely stuff. Is it right there? Oh, I see it on the line.
There it is.
Yep. Thought that you guys would find this interesting. This was actually sent to us.
Since we're talking about old stuff.
Since we're talking about old stuff, and we're give a shout out to my man Joe here. He actually sent me this an article. Again, we don't get a ton of this, but if you guys ever see an article that you know is a little bit obscure, or you know that maybe people missed, send it my way. Send it to me on Instagram. Send it to me anywhere. Maybe it'll make it in the show. Maybe we can talk about it. I'll definitely give you a shout out.
Maybe it'll get a fart noise. We'll just say, hey, look what this person sent us.
Joe, this is for you. Yeah, you're welcome. Huh?
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, dude, I've been waiting for that fart noise.
People like getting pumped for fart noise. Fart noise.
All right. So if you guys ever saw the movie Caddyshack, the one of the main characters in it, the actual young kid, Danny Noonan was his name, I think.
In the movie.
In the movie, his name was Danny Noonan.
Yeah, its actual name
I can't. I literally just pulled that.
Michael O'Keefe.
Michael O'Keefe. Apparently, now I don't want to get these stats wrong. So if you roll down and you see it anywhere else, then I got it wrong. But I'm pretty sure, I think it was 71, 72. He caddied legitimately in a U.S. Open. So
no.
Oh.
He caddied at the club where they're playing the U.S. Open now.
Roger that. Okay, so
yes.
It's okay. So he caddied at the club of the U.S. Open. And again, if you know anything about golf, whatever course he was caddying at was the top of the top echelon. Like, you don't caddy at a course and then they roll their U.S. Open in, it's like some pile of crap. Like, it's probably usually like one of the 20 nicest clubs in America, usually, if that's where they're playing the U.S. Open. So he caddied at that club. So he reached out recently, I guess maybe through Twitter or something they said, or he wrote a letter in, right? Isn't what he said?
He said, while I wouldn't be hitting any shots at Winged Foot Open, I do pledge to give advice, both solicited and unsolicited, to the golfer who gives me a chance to loop for him.
Yeah, loop for him. That's another slang term for caddying. So he was asking, look, I know I'm a little older, but I was in Caddyshack. I would love to caddy for somebody. Anybody give him a shout out. Apparently, a professional did. This guy named Danny Balin actually said, look, for my practice rounds for the U.S. Open, I would love to have you come out and caddy for me. So now, just this picture we showed you guys, Danny Noonan from Caddyshack is out there caddying for somebody. It's so weird to see him so old. It makes me feel so bizarre.
And it's weird because he still looks the same but old.
Yes.
So that's where you see it. It's if they look completely different, it's a little different. But
yeah.
And I love he's wearing a Bushwood Country Club hat.
Bushwood from Caddyshack. That is so classic. I love that he showed up in a Bushwood hat. I don't know where he got it, but that's amazing. I also just love this. I love this because it's like, he loves the sport. If you don't know anything about golf, you're like, why would you want to carry clubs for a professional? The game of golf has a lot of elements of chess in it. It's do I risk it here? Do I go high? Do I go low? Do I cut it left? Do I run it up? Do I trickle it in? Do I backspin it? Do I do this? It's a lot of decisions throughout the day, and the caddy is really that important. They tell you measurements and slopes and wind speeds. It is like shooting a rifle almost. I mean, they're down to like dew points and humidity is important. So having a caddy is very important. I love that he's into the science of it. I love that he still likes to caddy, and I also love the fact that somebody actually gave him a chance to roll out there and be a caddy for the U.S. Open. But with that, guys, we wanted to end on a positive story. As always, we love that you guys came in. Football is on tonight. Giants playing the Steelers. Titans playing the Broncos. We will let you guys go enjoy some Monday Night Football. Roger Goodell was not able to move the games tonight because there's two of them.
No, he'd already moved it as much as he could, he said already.
Yes. And now, going forward, I thought about this. We're always on Monday and Thursdays. Football always starts on 5:20 p.m. on Pacific time on Monday.
We'll have to check that, yeah.
And usually Thursday, usually about the same time on Thursday. So our show should be no problem going forward. But this time they have two Monday night games. So that kind of screws us.
I know. Roger said moving two games was a little difficult.
Yes.
Said he was screwing over those East Coast people. It would be way too late on the end of that second game, and they got a tough Tuesday ahead of them, they said.
I don't want to throw around the word selfish, but it's...
I know. I mean, I said there's no fans in the stadium.
That's right.
It's not like you got to worry about parking or anything.
Start it whatever, dude. Start it at midnight, you know?
Just put it on delay. Film it now. Let them play now, and then just put it on delay.
the players get in the locker room so pissed about their loss. But you just ruined the whole game for me. I didn't even see it. But
tweeting about it.
That's right. A little more of like I said, a little more of an in-depth discussion today. But man, if you guys have ever listened to the podcast, we do like to do that. We love to break down the facts and kind of see what's going on. We're going to keep up with this blindness thing and dig in a little deeper on that. And we have a lot of grab bag stories, some really fun stuff for you guys on Thursday. We didn't get to today. Be there Thursday. We'll have some games. Very light show coming Thursday. But as always, guys, we really appreciate you guys hanging in. If you haven't hit that follow button, smash it. If you haven't given it a chance to subscribe, do it one time. It will make you feel good. It will give us a couple bucks and say thank you for watching.
If you have any friends, tell them about the podcast.
If you have any friends, tell them about the podcast. Other than that, Paul's got the Amazon Twitch thing in the chat. You guys can just Amazon and Twitch connection, if you link it together, you don't even have to pay to subscribe, and it gives us monthly revenue. So we appreciate that. As always, we love you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in every Monday and Thursday. You guys are rock stars. Everybody, thanks for guys for tuning in. We'll be back Thursday, and we're gonna have another Rockstar Show Thursday. Let's keep it rolling, guys. You guys have a good rest of your Monday. Let's do it, baby. Woo! I don't know why we're cheering, but we're cheering. I love it.
Because we're important people.
Yeah, we got to cheer. All right, guys. I'm Nick.
I'm Kevin.
And we're the two dumb idiots. Have a good one, guys. Hey, guys. Thanks for following us along. Another good clip here. Make sure to catch us out on Twitch and hit that subscribe button right here.